So hello everyone, I'm Vi, I'm e-commerce marketing expert at Omnisend, and today I'm very excited because we're gonna have our friends from Bad Marketing Agency, and we're gonna talk about segmentation and how to use it to your advantage after Black Friday, Cyber Monday has passed. And to help us to do that, today we have Anna Rose, and she is a wealth of knowledge. So use this opportunity to ask her any questions to do with segmentation. We'll be very happy to help you out. Anna Rose, would you like to say hello?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much, Vi, for having me on the webinar today. I'm just so excited to share all of the knowledge that we've gained at Bad Marketing, everything that we've tested, and help everyone have a really successful into their Q4.
Awesome. A couple of things to note before we begin. This session is being recorded, so you'll receive the recording of the session and the slides and any of the resources we're going to share throughout. You'll receive it in a couple of days. And if at any point you have any questions for Anna Rose, there's a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. So drop your questions in there, and then we will either cover those during our Q&A session, or we will pause and answer them. And also we have our customer support in the chat. They're real people, so be nice. They'll be happy to guide you through any general Omnisend questions you might have. Okay, Anna Rose, the stage is yours.
So first, who am I and why am I telling you guys about segmentation? My name is Anna Rose. I've been with Bad Marketing for 3 years now. I started as an account manager, and I've been in the success manager position for 2 years. As success manager, I've helped build the email and SMS department at Bad, and I now lead a team of 12 email marketers and oversee the email and SMS strategy for over 25 7- to 8-figure brands. All right, here's what we're going to go over today. What not to do after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and some of the biggest opportunities for your post-Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. The Goldilocks zone of segmentation for you to use in your December campaigns and year-round for maximum revenue, who to exclude for deliverability, and so we don't upset any of your Black Friday, Cyber Monday buyers. And there is so much more bonus information at the end. We've got post-Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, do's and don'ts, high-performing campaign strategy ideas for your December calendar, SMS tips, and so much more. So be sure to stay tuned until the end of this presentation so you can scan that QR code and download all of this presentation for you to use in December. All right, what's the problem? Black Friday, Cyber Monday is done. Everyone on your list just got overloaded with emails. Most of your list should have placed an order if your sale was successful, and you're likely going to begin your holiday sales pretty soon in December. We definitely want to make sure that you're targeting the right people on your list with those sales and campaigns so you can end Q4 strong. Here are 2 of the biggest mistakes I see email marketers make after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Either they scale back their segmentation and send to way too few people during December, missing out on tons of revenue during the biggest shopping period of the year. Or they swing the other way and continue similar segmentation to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, exhausting and overwhelming their list, losing repeat buyers and potential new buyers from their email list. So the opportunity here is through your segmentation. Even though the biggest sale of the year just happened, most people will shop in December, whether it's for others or for themselves. The most important thing is to make sure the right people get the right messages. By segmenting properly, you can ensure your campaigns and sales after Black Friday are successful and you make the most revenue possible. Segmenting will also ensure you don't tank your deliverability or lose valuable people from your email list. We don't want anyone unsubscribing and buying from your competitors. The solution here is strategic segmentation. Through the segmentation strategy I'm about to share with you, you're going to maximize every single email you send. We spend so much time strategizing campaign topics, refining copy and content. Don't waste all of that by not sending to the right audience. You will make more money from your campaigns and your deliverability will improve, landing you in more inboxes and less spam folders. Ultimately, the segmentation strategy that I'm about to show you is going to allow you to reach more people with your brand. All right, so where do we begin? Whether you're just starting out with segmentation or you've already scheduled thousands of emails before, here are 3 questions you need to ask yourself when choosing segmentation for every email campaign. First is, what's the goal? Is it engagement? Are we nurturing buyers, converting non-buyers? Are we trying to boost revenue, gather information? Is it a win back for past buyers? Think about, do people want to receive this email? Would it add value to their life? You also need to consider, does the timeline make sense for this email if we're targeting new subscribers or recent buyers, for example? The second question to ask yourself is, who would benefit? Consider people who have been engaged with email, people engaged with the website, for example, added to cart, started checkout, viewed product, active on site, added to wish list. You also want to consider people who've placed an order within a certain time frame, and any other groups in your list, such as your VIPs, people on a subscription program, rewards members, things like that. The last question to ask yourself is, who would not benefit? Who needs to be excluded because they definitely would not engage with this email and it would hurt deliverability? Who needs to be excluded based on their last order date? Are they in the post-purchase flow or a win-back flow? Who could this cause a negative interaction with? Does someone currently in the abandoned checkout flow want this email, for example? And then you need to think, do any of my segments conflict with one another? Exclusions do matter just as much as who you're sending to. Later in this presentation, in the bonus section, there are specific segment examples of segments that you can exclude from your campaigns. But before we get there, I wanted to share some of these main principles with you so you can keep this in mind as we go over the main segments that we're going to be targeting in the next couple of slides. So to break it down as simply as possible, for every campaign, there will be 3 categories for exclusions to consider. The first is always exclude. There will be some campaigns that you exclude from every email. These are people who are definitely not going to engage with your email. Think invalid email addresses like Gmail or Hitmail. Anyone who is hard bounced. For the most part, email service platforms do suppress hard bounce, but you never know, someone could have slipped in. You also want to exclude people who've soft bounced multiple times because, again, the likelihood of them receiving this email is pretty slim. And you want to exclude people who have received a lot of emails recently and never opened or clicked any of them. The second group to consider are your mostly exclude. These are segments who are excluded most of the time. These are people with a high likelihood of not engaging or being annoyed with the email. So people who are currently in an abandonment flow, people who went through the sunset flow and did not engage, people who were created a long time ago and haven't engaged with the email or the website recently. And then the last group to consider are your sometimes exclude. These are people you will occasionally exclude depending on the campaign topic or goal. This is based on their purchase history or their customer lifecycle stage and includes buyers in the last 30, people active on a subscription program. If the email is for non-buyers, then you might want to exclude all buyers and vice versa. All right, let's get into who we do want to send to. Most campaigns will send to a combination of what I like to call the Goldilocks zone of segmentation. The Goldilocks zone is comprised of 6 main groups of people within your list. By sending to a combination of these segments, you can maximize the impact of every email you send. It's extremely rare that any campaign would send to just one segment unless it was a really specific campaign goal, like you're telling your reward members how many points they have, for example. The first one I want to talk about is our core engaged segment, because 99.99% of your campaigns should have a core engaged segment. These are people who have opened or clicked an email within a certain time frame. We use opened or clicked because nothing is perfect, and especially with the Apple privacy updates, opens are not as reliable as they used to be. So we always want to say opened or clicked. These are people who are most likely to engage with your email, which is why every campaign needs to have one. When selecting the time frame, keep in mind how big the campaign is. So a sale or a product launch needs to go to a larger audience, such as 120, 180, or 365-day engaged. Whereas an engagement email, such as a blog article or a recipe, would go to 30 or 60-day engaged, maybe even 90-day engaged. Recipes perform pretty well. Let's look at an example here. In this example, we have people who are subscribed to email, who have opened or clicked at least once in the last 90 days. And in this example here, we have the impact that a core engaged segment can have. This is an email we sent last December for one of our brands, and we sent it to 90-day engaged and buyers in the last 90 days. As you can see, the core engaged segment generated the most revenue. The next group to consider are your recently created profiles. These are people who are at the most crucial stage of their life cycle on your list. It's now or never. These are people who were just on your website and subscribed to email. If you don't convert them to become a buyer now in the first couple of months, you may never convert them to become a buyer, and eventually you'll just have to clean them off your list. So it's important to target them and make sure they get educational content, social proof that builds trust, and anything that helps make that decision to purchase easy. Remember, people buy from people, so your founder's story, testimonials, and reviews are all going to be great content for them to receive. Similar to your core engaged segment, the bigger the campaign, the bigger the time frame to include. For example, a sale launch or new product announcement would be best to send to create it in the last 120 or 180 days rather than just create it in the last 60 days, for example. Here's an example of an Omnisend segment for recently created profiles. And here is the impact that this type of segment can have on a campaign. This was a flash sale that we sent last year in December for one of our brands, and it was a free shipping sale, which is huge. No one really does that anymore. So we wanted to make sure it went to plenty of people, and we included profiles who were created in the last 365 days. Really big, recently created segment. And that segment was the second highest for revenue, generating nearly $14,000 in revenue. If we had not included that campaign, then this sale email would not have performed as well. Next, we have website activity. This is one of my favorite segments, and I think it's often overlooked by email marketers. We get so hyper-focused on how people are interacting with email and forget all about how people are interacting with the website. I like to think of these segments as breadcrumbs left behind that indicate someone is on the verge of making a purchase, and we just have to help them cross that finish line. This will include active on site, added to cart, started checkout, or viewed product. Here's an example of an Omnisend segment for website activity. It's important to remember that you can customize it for certain products or collections. So for example, if you were sending an email about new dresses launched on your website, you would want to send it to people who had added to cart, viewed product, or started checkout for your dress collection. And here's the impact this type of segment can have. This is a campaign, a sale email that we sent last December for one of our brands. And as you can see, the viewed product, added to cart, started checkout for flour in the last 90 days, generated over $17,000 in revenue and really helped maximize the impact of this sale campaign. So as you can see, just sending sale campaigns or any campaigns to only your core engaged really is going to hurt the revenue that you're able to make through your campaigns. All right, engaged non-buyers.
I'm just going to jump in because I think when it comes to website activity, often people might have that fear of over emailing their audience as well. What if I send them an email about this and then they just visit my website and then I'll trigger another email? What would be your advice for people who are worried that they're going to spam their audience if they start including these website activities?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I love that you're thinking about that. That's really where your exclusions come in. Your exclusions are going to protect you so that you're not bothering someone who's in the abandoned checkout flow. We don't want to bother them. Or anyone who has not opened any emails recently, anyone who's made a purchase, maybe they added to cart and then finished that order. Well, it doesn't really make sense then to retarget them. So your exclusions are really going to be key here to make sure that you're not bothering your audience.
Awesome. Thank you. And I would like to encourage everyone, if you have any questions for Anna Rose, drop those in the Q&A tab. We'll be happy to answer. Take this opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. Please ask. Love talking about segmentation. And it's great to talk to other people about segmentation outside of bad marketing, because you can really, start to explore new ideas there as well. Alrighty, so our engaged non-buyers. It's important to remember that non-buyers on your list haven't purchased yet because their perceived value of the product is not yet equal to the cost. And there are two ways to bridge this gap. The first is you can offer discounts or promote sales. And the second is you can increase the perceived value of the product, which is most preferred by brand owners. So how do you increase that perceived value? Through psychology. People buy from people. Reviews, testimonials from the founder about the team, that's all going to be great content to send your non-buyers. People also buy from brands they trust. So if you have any charitable giving, eco-friendly initiatives, if you have clean products, or any education on why your brand is better than your competitors, again, that's going to be really important to include your non-buyers. You should understand why your non-buyers haven't purchased yet, so you can address those pain points head on and make it clear why your brand or product is the solution. And even though we always want to increase the perceived value, people will always love getting a discount. So any sale or clearance emails definitely need to go to your non-buyers. Now, the most important thing, number one, most important thing about targeting your non-buyers is that you have to add a condition of engagement. If you send to all non-buyers all time, especially if your account is many years old, you are going to hurt your deliverability. That is just way too many people who are really not interested in your brand and unlikely to engage with the email or convert through the email. So you can add a condition of engagement one of three ways. You can send to non-buyers who have engaged with email, non-buyers who have engaged with the website, or non-buyers who recently subscribed to email. In December specifically, this is going to include your Black Friday, Cyber Monday window shoppers. So that's a huge opportunity there. Definitely want to make sure you are targeting non-buyers in December. Here's an example of an engaged non-buyer segment. In this segment, we have the condition that they have opened or clicked in the last 120 days. Again, you can adjust this to make it active on site, added to cart, started checkout, or viewed product, or that they recently subscribed to email. Now, in this example of a non-buyer segment, this brand is a little bit different to our other brands. Their email is not so much focused on revenue growth as it is educating the audience about the different ways to buy the product outside of Shopify as well. So for that reason, we do promote going to Amazon or going to Whole Foods and things like that. In this email, we were encouraging last-minute holiday shoppers to take advantage of Amazon Prime and get 2-day shipping for their gifts. This is a great email campaign idea, by the way. Anyone on Amazon, I would send this a couple days before the holidays and make sure you send it to the right people. So non-buyers are a perfect audience to send this type of campaign to because they clearly haven't bought through email. So there's no harm in sending them to Amazon. You also can send this to your VIPs, again, because you're probably not going to lose them as an email customer. In this email example, even though we were promoting shopping through Amazon, the engaged non-buyer segment actually generated the most revenue of any of the segments that we sent to, and those people converted through the email and actually bought from the Shopify site. So really important to always think about your non-buyers and get creative with the way that you reach out to them. All right, Winback and seasonal buyers. December is the best time of the year to retarget your past buyers. Encourage them to buy for themselves, buy gifts for others, try something new, or replenish their supply if that's applicable to your product. Based on the product and your cohort analysis, which is very important to know, you should all know your cohort analysis and how many months it takes for someone to come back for their next order. Then you can determine the ideal timeframe to retarget your past buyers. However, with that said, for the most part, all past buyers should be retargeted in December because it is such a huge month for shopping. This means you can retarget your Black Friday, Cyber Monday buyers too if your brand has opportunities for cross-sell, upsell, gifting, or replenishment. It's also really important to keep in mind the timeline for your post-purchase journey because we don't want to bombard anyone with flows and campaigns at the same time. Here we have two examples of win-back segments. The first one is really specific to Omnisend and one of my favorite things about Omnisend. If you guys don't have this segment made, you definitely want to go create it right after this webinar. They make it so easy to retarget your win-back buyers with the about to lose, at risk, can't lose, and need nurturing customer lifecycle stages. Then if you want to get a little bit more granular or creative or customize it for your cohort analysis, then you can create a custom win-back segment like our second example here, which is buyers 30 to 365 days ago. Here's an example from last year. In December, you definitely want to target your past December buyers as well. So anyone who purchased in 2024 or 2023 during that holiday period, they might be people who just buy from your brand during the holiday season, and you don't want to miss out on getting them to shop again with you this holiday season. When you're targeting your past buyers during that certain time frame, it's great to acknowledge their last purchase. So if you're sending to past December buyers, you can always mention that they give the best gifts and encourage them to make this year another unforgettable year. And here is the impact that we can see on this type of segment. This is another email we sent last December for one of our clients. And as you can see, the past buyer segments generated some of the highest revenue of all the segments, about $26,000 to $30,000 in revenue. This includes buyers 2 or more times, buyers in the last 365 days, and repeat buyers engaged in the last 90 days. If we had not included these win-back segments, this campaign certainly would not have been as successful as it was. And last but certainly not least are VIPs. VIPs can often be forgotten by email marketers. I think we get really focused on trying to convert non-buyers or recently engage with email. But your VIPs are your loyal champions, and they really want to be acknowledged for their loyalty. VIP status can be determined by their purchase history, such as the amount of orders or the amount of revenue that they've spent on your site. People can also be VIP if they're on your subscription program, subscribe to SMS, or if they're a rewards member. The number one rule for targeting your VIPs is not to talk to them like they're everyone else. You should be tailoring your copy and your content just for them because they are special. Offer them early access to sales and new product releases. Make sure they get final reminders for holiday shipping deadlines and any last chance sale reminders. And if you can, give them exclusive offers like a VIP flash sale that's just for them. You also want to send them loyalty building content that reminds them why they love your brand so much and why they keep coming back for more. But be mindful because you don't want to overdo it. The last thing you want to do is annoy your VIPs. Here we have 2 VIP segment examples, another amazing Omnisend option. They make it so easy to create a VIP segment and you can start targeting them immediately. So here we have the customer lifecycle stage is loyalists and champions. So everyone definitely recommend go create that segment right after this webinar. And again, if you want to get a little bit more granular or customize your VIP segmentation, you can set up something similar to our second example here, which is ordered 4 or more times and never canceled an order. And here we have the impact of a VIP segment. This campaign did not only send to our VIPs, but the VIP segment was one of the best segments for revenue generated. Anytime we remind the audience about how a brand gives back, we do make sure that we include the VIPs so they remember what they love about the brand. By the way, this was one of the first campaigns we sent after Black Friday last year, and it's a great tip for this year as well. The first campaign we sent after Black Friday last year was a thank you to our buyers, and the second one was something like this, highlighting charitable giving or any way that that brand gives back, really adding value and reducing buyers' remorse. If anyone has any questions or would like a free email and SMS audit, please scan this QR code. We would absolutely love to dive into your account and find areas of opportunity and optimization. So I want to give everyone a moment to scan this QR code. Don't be shy. We love, 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 love doing audits.
Love it. Anna Rose, thank you so much. That was so methodical. And I'm just listening to it. I'm like, we don't need any other webinars. Like, if you need something on segmentation, that's it. Go through the slides once you get them, listen to the webinar again, and there's so much value. And then once you've done all of it, then we can talk about another webinar. Thank you so much.
Of course. And then don't forget, guys, we do have a bonus section. This has so many tips, do's and don'ts for your December campaign strategy and your sales and everything. So to get access to the bonus section, go ahead and you can scan this QR code. You'll get the entire presentation and you can use it now for a really, really successful December and into Q4.
And we actually have time to go through a couple of the bonuses as well. I think there's going to be so much value. There's one question And I think it wasn't just Lars who noticed it. In your segmentation, when you were naming the segments, there's an L before any number. So like L45, L90. What does L stand for?
L stands for last. So in the last 90 days, last 60 days. Yeah, not a loss, not an L. It's just the last couple days.
We are not that hip, guys. Awesome. If anyone else has any questions, take this opportunity. Ask Anna Rose anything about segmentation, especially focusing on post Black Friday. And also, I have a question. What does BAD stand for?
Oh, yeah, great question. Love that question. It stands for bold and disruptive. So, I mean, it really sums up marketing in a whole. I love telling people I work for bad marketing because I always stop and think about it, which is what marketing is. So I love that we have that as our name for our agency.
Amazing. So yeah, we have about 10 more minutes that we can keep either for Q&A. If anyone has any questions, just post it in a chat. We'll pick it up. And then for now, we can go through the bonuses because I think it's very exciting as well.
Okay, yeah, definitely. All right, so exclusion segments. There was a little bit about this at the beginning. We had a little bit of a conversation about it as well. These are super important. It can be overwhelming. So I tried to break it down as simply as possible by creating these three different categories that everyone can think about when they're excluding for their segments. So again, we have our always exclude. They are definitely not going to engage. Invalid emails, fake emails, people who've hard bounced once or soft bounced 5 or more times, people who've received a lot of emails recently and never opened or clicked. We also have our mostly exclude. Again, those are really unlikely to engage or likely to get annoyed. So this could be people who canceled a subscription recently, people in the welcome flow or an abandonment flow, anyone who was created a long time ago and hasn't opened or clicked recently or gone through the sunset flow without engaging. And then your sometimes exclude is going to be based on your campaign and the person's purchase history or customer lifecycle stage. So, for example, this is where you might want to exclude buyers in the last 30 days, people active on their subscription program. If you're trying to target non-buyers, then excluding all buyers and vice versa. So that one's really specific to your brand and your campaign topic. Here we have a couple of examples of these always exclude segments. This might be kind of small for you guys to see, so we can run that QR code again if you guys want to scan this so you can use these examples. But here we have received 5 or more emails in the last 30 days, never opened and never clicked any of them. We have invalid emails, so again, gmail.com with a J at the end, .con, some really common misspellings that we've seen over the years. And then hard bounce once or soft bounce 5 or more times in the last 90 days. And then here are some examples of our mostly exclude segments. We have contacts who received the welcome flow email in the last 3 days, contacts in abandonment flows, people who received 12 or more emails and were created over a year ago, super unlikely to engage, and those who have entered the sunset flow and not engaged. I will say the reason these are mostly exclude and not always exclude is because you never know. There's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, there's big sales, there are opportunities. Maybe that's the optimist in me, but I do think it's a good idea to give people a couple of opportunities to re-engage with something that's really intriguing, like a big sale or a new product release. Here we just have an example of the power of segmentation. So in the first one, we have how the segmentation that our team did after this brand joined BAD increased revenue from flash sales by over 10K. And in the second example, we were able to 3x revenue for product launches by deepening segmentation and using that Goldilocks zone of segmentation.
Anna Rose, we have a question, and it's on exclusions. And again, personally, I love that you included exclusions because it's so often overlooked and we're just focusing, okay, these segments, and we forget, hey, we should probably do some exclusions as well. So I love it. The nerd in me is like, yes, Thank you. All right. So a question from Ashley is, so she's sending, okay, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, she is sending campaigns to her entire list. And, but then she's going to run a mid-December holiday sale as well. So her question is, would you recommend that she excludes Black Friday, Cyber Monday buyers from promotional campaigns and instead only focus on adding value like you mentioned?
That's a really great question. Thank you, Ashley, for asking that. First, I would say it does depend on your brand and their audience. So, do people come back for a second purchase, or is it a really high priced item, like a huge AOV that you only have one of? Then there might not be opportunities for them to shop again. But that's pretty rare in the ecom space. Most ecom brands have something else that someone can buy. So I would say it's perfectly fine to retarget your Black Friday, Cyber Monday buyers in December. Just make sure that that first campaign they get after Black Friday is a thank you for shopping. Love to do a thank you for shopping from the founder as an all text. So it's very genuine. And then you want to build the value a little bit, maybe like a recipe, maybe a blog article. Don't go straight into the hard sell. So you just want to have a little bit of a pause there. And then definitely, I would just consider what someone purchased, maybe what their purchase order was. You know, if someone spent $1,000 during Black Friday, are they likely to buy again? Maybe, maybe not. Again, there are some questions you'll have to ask yourself based on your brand and the audience.
Awesome. Ashley, if you have any follow-ups. Oh, she's saying thank you. That was helpful. And if anyone has any other questions, again, use this opportunity. That's your expert answering the questions. Awesome. Let's continue.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. All right, so post Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaign strategy. Again, you will want to download this presentation because I know that the copy here is a little bit small, but I'll just run through from the beginning of December, right after the end of your Black Friday, Cyber Monday, to the new year, just some of the ideas that we have here. If anyone has any questions or wants any elaboration, please ask your questions, happy to answer them. And then when you download this presentation for each of these campaign ideas, we also have the segments that you would want to include there. So really valuable stuff. Definitely recommend downloading this presentation. So again, the first email that you send after Black Friday, very first, I would wait like 1 or 2 days after the end of your sale, is an all text thank you for shopping Black Friday, Cyber Monday from your founder. And then, of course, send it to all of your Black Friday, Cyber Monday shoppers. We've seen this perform extremely well. You would not expect it to generate revenue, but many times it can. But that's not really the goal here. The goal is to nurture that relationship with people who just placed an order and make sure that they value your brand, they keep coming back, reduce buyer's remorse, things like that. The next email that you send after that is going to be a value add. So if you have any charitable giving or ways that you give back, it could also just be a recipe. You don't have to get super complicated with it, just something that adds value. You're not asking them to buy. Don't want to go right into the hard sell just yet. The next one after that will be something like an education, maybe newsletter or tips. Again, just really adding value so that people still, they see your email come up and they know that, oh, I'm not being asked to buy something. There's actually something in here that I want. It's going to give me value. And so by sending a few emails like that after your sale, you just help the audience realize you're not a threat. Like I'm a friend, I'm sending you stuff I think you're gonna like. And you get them to continue to engage. Then you can slowly get back into some of the hard sell, if you want to call them that, campaigns like a gift guide, which is great for December campaign strategy. Really get creative. Some of our brands, maybe they sell supplements and it's like, oh, no one really gives supplements as a gift, but encourage the audience to think of those products as gifts. People are moving more towards consumable gifts rather than, like a knickknack or something like that. So don't be afraid of doing a gift guide no matter what your brand sells. And then you can also do a gift guide by budget or by personality. So, for the quiet one, buy them this. For the funny one, you can buy them this. Those work really well. But for some brands, the gift by budget actually performs better because usually people do have a budget that they're shopping for when they're shopping.
I'm just gonna jump in on the supplements brand because I used to work with supplement brands exclusively, and that gifting and bundle idea is actually really great if you're planning ahead for New Year, because many people will be thinking about New Year, new me, restarting things. So those gifts, those bundles, could inspire people to shop for themselves. If it's a supplement brand, it can be like excellent hair and nails, and people are already thinking about it. And what worked for my clients in the past was exclusively mentioning, this is the best offer we're going to do this year. And in January, yes, we'll probably run something, but this is the best price you can get. So kind of being transparent, but also being like, hey, there's still going to be something in January, but this is your opportunity, has worked really well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that specificity there of just saying this is not happening again. We often say that during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, like, oh, it's our biggest sale of the year. Pretty common phrase there. But I agree in December, anytime that you're having a sale like that, it's great to mention. Okay, so some of the other ideas that we have for December, these are campaign ideas that we have tested on our brands. They work really well to the point that, we kind of got December down to a science a little bit, I would say. So after your gift guide, you would want to do something like a review highlight or a testimonial, maybe an influencer highlight. So now we're trying to build social proof and that trust before launching the next sale. We love having something like that right before launching a sale. And then if you have your holiday sales, that would be a good time to launch it. On the next slide, there are specific holiday sale do's and don'ts for you to use in December. So make sure, again, that you download this presentation so you have access to those. During that sale, you can resend a gift guide if you like the gift guide that you sent a couple weeks ago. We love doing a resend if something performed really well. We just exclude people who bought from it the first time. So that's a really great way to maximize campaigns, especially during this time. Then after your launch and maybe a resend, you will want to send plenty of reminders and last chance to shop your holiday sale. Again, resends work really well during holiday sales or all sales, really. So you can clone your campaign, send it to maybe not as big of an audience, maybe cut it down a little bit, and be sure that you exclude sale buyers because no one wants to get another sale email when they just bought from your sale. And then after the end of your sale, if you're on Amazon, I do encourage you guys to send a last minute to shop your holiday gifts on Amazon Prime with their 2-day shipping. That always performs really well. Again, you're going to want to be really strategic with your segmentation there. I would target non-buyers or VIP, but I wouldn't target someone who I might lose on email and now they only buy from Amazon. So you definitely want to be careful there. And then for anyone who has e-gift cards on your website, that's another really great campaign. You can send that even on December 24th or 25th. Those last minute shoppers, they waited and you can be the savior. You can help them, get that gift that they forgot to get. So e-gift card campaigns really perform well around that time of year as well. Vi, did you have a question?
Yes, we actually have 2 questions that came in, and I would love us to use the remaining of the time to answer those questions. And also, I really wanted you to finish the topic on gift cards because, again, from my personal experience working with different clients, it might sound silly sending a campaign on Christmas Day, but trust me, there's so many last minute shoppers. Again, depends on what you're selling, but just experiment with it. Like it's been really successful in the past.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So the first question is from Helen. So she's saying it's her brand's 5th-year anniversary. Congratulations, Helen. That is excellent for any e-commerce brand. And her question is, how can she make sure that she gets the best value through choosing the right segments when talking about this anniversary? And I think especially tricky here is that it's Black Friday happening as well. So what would be your advice to Helen?
Okay, so the anniversary sale is during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale?
So the anniversary is this week.
Okay, got it. I would say anniversary, you definitely want to target past buyers. Anyone who's purchased from your brand, this is the perfect opportunity to share. You could almost treat it as like kind of like a VIP, like it's our anniversary. And I would focus mostly on your past buyers and your engaged segment. Non-buyers, of course, you always want to include them in your sales, but I would say that's a little bit less of a focus for your anniversary and with Black Friday coming. Those non-buyers, they might just hold out a little bit for that bigger discount, which is fine. But your loyal customers, the ones who buy from you often, I think that they would be perfect to target there. And if that's happening this week, I would probably not do more than a few days. I would try to keep it short. Again, we don't really want to compete too much with your Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, which it should be the biggest offer of the year. So a little flash sale. We have plenty of brands doing like a little VIP, like pre Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, because people are getting in the spirit of buying. And just because they buy now doesn't mean they won't buy in a few weeks. So it's perfectly fine to do that. I would just make sure it's not too long and you are definitely targeting your past buyers. And then don't be scared to retarget anyone during Black Friday, Cyber Monday if it's a different offer and you have plenty of other things on the site for them to shop.
Fantastic. Helen, I hope that answers your question. If you have any follow-ups, just drop that in the chat. And I think it was a perfect coincidence because this morning I received a campaign from one of the brands that I think I shopped with them like 7 years ago, and they sent an email saying, hey, it's our 15th year anniversary, and here's a little something. We still remember you shopping with us ages ago. And it was so well phrased that it wasn't a hard sale, but it was also almost nostalgic in the copy, being like, hey, we've been open for 15 years. At some point you bought from us, you probably never came back, but hey, here's a little something to celebrate. And it felt really nostalgic. That brand is no longer my style in clothing, but it just felt really nice. So like it's perfect timing for your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Great. Helen says, yes, that's great. And we have another question from Jean-Claude. He is saying, would you recommend sending the recipe blog educational emails in December to larger segments to show customers who were bombarded during Black Friday, Cyber Monday that your brand has more value to them, or keep them to smaller engagement segments to help with deliverability after sending so much in November? So what would be your advice on that educational content that you already mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. I would say that you definitely want to scale back a little bit on that educational content. We don't need to send to 365-day engage, because another really important thing to remember is during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you just sent to everyone. So if they didn't open your Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, I'm sorry to tell you, they might not open your recipe. I mean, you never know, but I think that keeping it to like 60-day engage, even 90-day engage, I think would be fine, because again, December is a big shopping period and some people are busy, and some people, if they're in the marketing world, maybe that's why they didn't open the Black Friday, Cyber Monday emails. But yeah, I would say 90-day or below would be perfectly fine to send that educational content to.
And I also love that at the beginning and throughout, you did mention that recipes perform really well. And that's
Yeah.
also my experience. And I remember I was working with this subscription brand, and in every subscription box, we would include a recipe, just a seasonal recipe, something very simple, very basic. And I think it was like the third, so the first, the second box got the recipe, the third box did not. And we started getting emails, people asking, where's the recipe? So it works, especially if you have if you sell consumables, but also if you don't, just pick the
Yeah.
seasonality and use it to
Mhm.
your advantage.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we have some brands, they sell nothing related to food or anything like that, but we send a recipe that their audience would, resonate with. And it always just performs so well. People love them. If you're not doing recipes, go make a recipe email after this webinar.
Test it out, see how your audience performs. But it's all, I think for most of the people, it's just setting the mood and getting in the mood as well. That's why it's so they receive it so well.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, I'm looking at the time. If anyone has one last question, now is the time to ask it. A quick reminder, you will receive the recap email in a couple of days that will include all the bonuses. Here's the QR code, scan it. You can download it now, no need to wait. You can put it to work.
Sorry, that wasn't the download.
Oh, great. Here you go. Awesome. But also contact Bat Marketing. They clearly know what they're doing, so let them help you. Okay. So no more questions. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, customer support team, for answering all the other questions. Again, everyone will receive the recording in a couple of days. You'll get the slides. You'll be able to contact Bad Marketing if you like. Yay, so many happy people in the chat. Thank you, Anna Rose. Thank you, everyone. Great. Anna Rose, thank you so much.
Thank you so
This was
much,
so
Vi. I had a
good.
great time. Love talking about this. And I hope that this was valuable. I really just wanted everyone who watched this to walk away feeling so excited about December and your post Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. So I hope everyone has really tangible tips and is feeling really confident with their end of year strategy.
And I hope everyone's as excited about segmentation as we are.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And we will see you soon. Bye.
bye.